My girlfriend's mom secretly told me to dump her over her daughter with Down syndrome. So, I kicked her out of the party in front of everyone and exposed what she'd told me months earlier. I had been dating Lena for 6 months before she let me meet her daughter. Maisie is 7. She has Down syndrome, and Lena had a rule. No man got near Maisie until she was sure he was going to stay. I waited. We planned the meeting for a Saturday at her apartment. Just us 3 and a stack of board games. 3 days before, Lena's mother called me. Her name is Diane. We had met twice, both at restaurants, both polite on the surface. She wanted to grab coffee, just the two of us. She said she had something important to tell me. I went in expecting a welcome speech. I left understanding for the first time why Lena had not let her own mother babysit Maisie alone in over a year. Diane ordered tea and sat across from me with the kind of smile people use right before they say what they really think. She said she wanted to be honest. She told me Maisie was a lot. She said the meltdowns were constant, that Lena had no life, that I was about to take on a problem with no end date. She said, in those exact words, Maisie is never going to be a real kid. I did not answer. I let her keep going. She told me about a place called Sunbridge. She called it a very nice place where Maisie could be with her own kind. She said Lena would never agree because Lena was stubborn, but maybe I could be the voice of reason. She said I still had time to walk away. I told her I would think about it. I went home and did not tell Lena. I met Maisie that Saturday. She hid behind Lena for the first hour. In the second hour, she handed me a purple crayon and asked me to draw a horse. I drew a horse. She told me my horse looked like a dog and laughed at her own joke for 10 straight minutes. I went back the next weekend, and the one after that. Diane started showing up more. At Sunday dinners, she called Maisie the situation. She told me in the kitchen that I was a saint for sticking around. She brought Maisie a doll one weekend and said it was perfect for kids who can't really read yet. Maisie hugged the doll. Lena's jaw locked. I said nothing. Diane mentioned Sunbridge twice more, both times when Maisie was in earshot. At a park, she walked off and left Maisie alone on a bench while she answered a text. Lena told her not to do it again. Diane rolled her eyes. Every time I came over, I waited for Lena to push back harder. She never did. I started to understand that Lena had been swallowing this her whole life. Maisie's 8th birthday was at a pizza place with a small party room. Lena invited 8 kids from her class and their parents. Diane came with a wrapped envelope. She handed it to Lena right after the cake and said, "Open it now, sweetie. It's from family." Lena opened it. Inside was a glossy welcome packet from Sunbridge, a brochure, and a note in Diane's handwriting. I already called and reserved a spot. Just say the word. Lena's face went pale. Maisie was sitting right next to her, picking frosting off the plate. She looked up and asked, "Mama, what is it?" Diane smiled and said, "Nothing for you, honey." Lena handed the envelope to me. I read it. I knelt down and asked Maisie if she wanted to show me her biggest present. She nodded and ran to the gift table. I turned to Diane and said, "You need to leave." Diane blinked. "I am her grandmother." Lena said, "Get your coat, Mom." Diane lowered her voice and told Lena it was just a gift, that I was making a scene. Lena did not move. I told Diane calmly that 3 weeks before I had ever met Maisie, she had sat across from me and called her own granddaughter a problem with no end date. I told her I had not forgotten a single word. Diane looked at Lena, waiting for backup. Lena did not give her any. She picked up Diane's coat and held it out. Diane took it. She left without saying goodbye to Maisie. Maisie did not notice she was gone. Lena cried that night after Maisie was asleep. She said she had spent 8 years apologizing for her own daughter and had not realized she was doing it until she watched me not do it. The next morning, Diane called me again. I picked up because I thought she might be apologizing. Her voice was completely calm. She sounded like someone reading off a card. She said, "I want you to know that I contacted a child welfare organization this morning because I am genuinely worried about Maisie's development." I did not say anything. She kept going. I told them Maisie is not getting the support she needs. They are going to want to talk to Lena. Every word came out smooth, measured. She had planned this. She had taken the system built to protect kids like Maisie and turned it into a weapon, wearing the mask of a concerned grandparent. I asked her straight out what she had told them. She did not pause. Only the truth, that Lena is overwhelmed and Maisie is not getting proper care. I kept my voice level and hung up. Then I drove straight to Lena's apartment. When I walked in, Lena was at the stove flipping pancake. Maisie was at the table drawing horses that still looked like dogs. Lena turned, saw my face, and the smile faded. I asked her if we could talk in the other room. I closed the bedroom door and told her everything. Lena just stood there. Her hands started shaking first, then her arms. She said she would not do that, not even her. I showed her the call log. She looked at it for a long time, like she was waiting for the numbers to change. Then she sat on the edge of the bed. "She is trying to take my daughter from me," she said. She did not raise her voice. She said it flat, like something she had always known was coming, but had hoped would never arrive. She grabbed her phone and called Diane on speaker. Diane picked up almost right away. "I did this for you, Lena. You need help and you are too proud to ask for it." Lena said, "You do not get to decide what my daughter needs." Diane sighed that long, heavy sigh. "Sweetie, I am the only one thinking clearly. That man you are dating has been in Maisie's life for 5 minutes." Lena hung up. She set the phone on the dresser like it was something dirty. From down the hall, we could hear Maisie humming. I called Brody. He is an old friend of mine and he works in family law. I gave him the short version. He said, "If it is just a wellness check from a concern call, it is routine. They send someone out, they look around, and if everything looks fine, they close the file. But you need to document everything Diane has said. Texts, voicemails, anything. Right now, she looks like a worried grandmother. You need to make sure there is proof she is not." I sat on the edge of the bed and started screenshotting every text Diane had ever sent me. The one where she called Maisie a lot. The one where she sent me the address for Sunbridge with the words, "Just in case you come to your senses." The one after the party where she told me I had embarrassed her in front of strangers' children. Lena had her own collection. Diane had no idea how much she had put in writing. The next 2 days were prep. We cleaned the apartment so it looked like what it was, a home where a kid was being taken care of. Lena did not want it to feel staged. She left Maisie's drawings taped to the fridge and her shoes by the door where she always kicked them off. Lena got on the phone with Maisie's school, her speech therapist, the occupational therapist, every person who had ever worked with Maisie. She moved through it like someone who had been training for a race. She hoped she would never have to run. Then she went to her bedroom closet and pulled out a thick accordion folder from the top shelf. She set it on the bed and opened it, and inside were years of Maisie's life on paper. Report cards, evaluations, notes from teachers, letters from her doctor, speech assessments with little graphs showing how far Maisie had come. Lena looked at me. She said, I have kept every report card, every evaluation, every note, because I always knew someone would question me. She said it without bitterness, just flat, like a fact she had accepted a long time ago. That folder was not organized because Lena was careful. It was organized because Lena was scared. Brody came by the next evening. He went through everything page by page and said, this is solid. Any reasonable person who walks through that door is going to see a kid who is loved and cared for. But you should also prepare a written statement about Diane's behavior. The Sunbridge brochures, the comments, the coffee meeting. If the person doing the check hears both sides, Diane's credibility falls apart. That night I sat at the kitchen table and wrote it. Coffee shop, a lot, a real kid, Sunbridge. The Sunday dinners where she called Maisie, the situation, the doll, the park, the brochure, the welfare call. 6 months ago, I was nervous about meeting a 7-year-old. Now I was building a case file. The next morning, Lena was wiping down the baseboards in the hallway. Maisie walked up behind her and said, Mama, why are you cleaning so much? Lena said, because someone might visit. Maisie thought about that. Then she said, is Grandma coming? Lena froze. I jumped in. Nobody. Grandma is not coming. Maisie tilted her head. Then she said, good, she makes you sad. She was looking at Lena when she said it. Then she walked back to her room like she had just said the most normal thing in the world. Lena and I looked at each other. There was nothing to say. A 7-year-old had said out loud what all of us had been dancing around for months. That afternoon, I called my mom. Cora lives 3 hours away, and I had not told her much because I did not want her to worry. I told her everything. She did not interrupt. When I finished, she said, that woman does not deserve that little girl. You tell Lena I am coming this weekend, and I am bringing a casserole and a notarized letter saying I have personally seen that child happy, healthy, and thriving. For the first time since the parking lot, I felt like we were not alone. That night, Diane texted Lena. The message was long. She said she was sorry things had gotten out of hand. She said she stood by her decision. She wrote, I called because I love Maisie. You will understand when you are older. Lena read those last words slowly. I said, she is not sorry. She is setting up her defense. Lena saved the message and did not reply. Cora came that weekend like she promised. She brought food and played board games with Maisie and told Lena, you are doing a beautiful job. Do not let anyone tell you different. Lena hugged her for a long time.